Well, hello and welcome everybody to the new health conversation. For all the censors out there that guard the community guidelines, we always want to tell you at the new health conversation, we absolutely stick to the community guidelines. We make no claims. Everything that we're sharing with our audience, they all can see it. Everything is in the public domain. We only quote from peer-reviewed human trial studies. So our job is to make people aware, and then they can make their own decision. We're not here to sell anything. We're not here to convince people. We're not here to trick them. We're here to educate them. So this is a free medical website that we have where there's nothing to buy on that website, period. So we always like to tell you that we stay within community guidelines, and anything we're going to be quoting is from a medical study. Nothing is our opinion. We don't give opinions, okay? Well, hello everybody. Hello user 539. Hello Penny. Hello Ron. Hello Vixter. Lots of people excited and coming on this morning, I hope. Yeah, she dropped 5 pounds a week, counted no calories. It's backed by 10 peer-reviewed studies. Miracle. Nope, science. This is for real. This is going to change. This is going to make every single diet in the world completely obsolete. It's not even a diet. It's really a new nutritional system that was developed by the top weight loss researchers in the world for 40 years, 100 studies to develop this. It's going to shock you when you see how incredibly easy it is to do it. There's no products. So stop right away thinking there's some product that's going to be some sales pitch. No, we're scientists. Our job is to make you aware. We've created for you a free medical website. You can see it in blue right above our head, the new health conversation. What's on that website? Only the medical proof. You'll also notice right above in black, want a free consultation. The consultations are free, the coaching is free, there's no gimmicks, there's no tricks, there's no anything. It's absolutely as advertised. So imagine she lost 5 pounds a week. Let me go to her actual story and I'll show you. So she lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in just 30 days. That's with no exercise, without counting calories. I know most of you are skeptical and very few of you are going to stick around. You're going to jump off because you think this is a hoax or it's fake. But I'll tell you right now, are you willing to take a chance this isn't real? Because if it's real, there's no way you'd ever do a traditional diet again. I think you're too smart to want to do that. Diets are miserable failures. We've got major studies now saying that counting calories is the most ridiculous thing that anybody ever came up with. There's never, these researchers who created this, to give you an idea, they had done 100 studies over 40 years. And the conclusion they came to was there was never a diet they found in 40 years where people were ever able to keep the weight off long term. You all know what's happening to you. You all know you've yo-yoed. What we do is we give you the real medical proof. There's no hyperbole. I'm not giving you my opinion. My opinion shouldn't matter. But let me just give you a little background on myself. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on public broadcasting, interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America, and over 1,500 lectures in universities and hospitals and towns. They even flew me to China. And for 22 of my 23 years, you know what that meant in the medical world? Zero. Why? Because there were no what are called peer-reviewed human trial studies. This is now this protocol is now been published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. Now, to understand why that you would care about that is that it'd be one thing if one journal kind of approved it. But when you got 10 of the biggest journals all saying this is for real, it's going to change the world, etc. Well, let me ask any of you if you don't mind. Did she disappear, Julie? No, she didn't disappear. That's pretty funny. But if you do look, Julie, look at how much she shrank in her hips and her waist and her abdomen and her diaphragm. That's in 30 days. By the way, Julie, that's with no exercise. Now, the thing is, you can either do this. You can you can believe your skepticism, which is justified. I'm not saying you shouldn't be skeptical. But what I'm saying is, are you willing to take a chance that this isn't real? Because if this is real, how in the world would you ever think you go back on a diet where maybe you lose a half a pound to a pound a week? By the way, also, she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. But she's not the only one. Let me show you some other examples, everybody, and then I'm going to, how did she do it, Jamie? I promise I'm going to explain it to you in a moment. But let me show you just a few other quick. Hello, Daily, Sweet One, Messiah. What is it? I dig art. Okay, everybody, slow down for just a moment, okay? Let me show you 3 other quick pictures. 35 pounds in 37 days. Again, with no exercise allowed. And then my friend's daughter, how about 60 pounds in 3 months? With that's not Photoshop. That's real. Look at her face, arms, body. So, okay, I know everybody's impatient to find out. So let's talk about it. Okay, so first, excuse me, first it was invented, this protocol was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world who'd done 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people, and they just concluded we're going to abandon calorie counting totally. And here's why. Can anybody give me the definition of a calorie? Does anyone even know what a calorie is? I didn't 24 years ago. So you're counting calories and you have no idea what they are. Well, the first problem with that is your body has no idea what a calorie is. So the researchers said you're alive because of three things: air, water, and something you need a minimum of, and it's not calories, it's nutrition. So what they said was, here's why your diets are failing you. When you go on a diet, you're lowering the amount of food. That's basically what happens. But you never thought about the fact, or I never thought about the fact, when you do that, you're lowering the amount of nutrition. When your brain senses there's not enough nutrition, because it's the nutrition that keeps you alive. It runs your brain, your heart, your kidney, your liver, etc. Not calories. It has nothing to do with calories. So the researchers said, we want to come, and if we're going to do something different that may work, it was a theory, okay? We're going to go find foods. We're going to give you less food, but we're going to give you more nutrition, which is the only thing your body cares about. It doesn't care about more food. It doesn't care about calories. It only cares about nutrition. So they put together a grocery list that you all would get for free. The grocery list: proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But only 30% of what you're going to eat in a month would come from this grocery list, and no calorie counting. They're going to give you serving sizes. Now, don't freak out and think you're going to be hungry because of serving size. They didn't give a darn about the serving size, because the only thing that mattered was, do we have enough nutrition to run all the systems in the body? That's the first part. The second part, they found, here's why this works. They found other researchers who'd gone around the world for 20 years to places like Russia, Mongolia, to Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had the two foods as part of this new nutritional system. You're going to learn a whole completely different way of eating. They figured it out after 40 years. They cracked the code. It's not up for debate. They've got the medical proof to prove this is the solution for weight loss and obesity. So they had the foods now. Then they created this new way of eating called protein pacing. And what they proved, what really mattered, yes, they had 30% of the food from the grocery store and 70% from these exotics. But they figured out 5 days a week until she lost all the weight, she was having 4 meals a day. She was starting with these foods from around the world with nutrients you can't get in the United States. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods from around the world. Imagine on a diet, you're having 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent, wow, I got a frog in my throat this morning. Intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store at all. But she had these exotic foods from around the world. She ate 8 times a day. She was literally eating every hour and a half or 2 hours. Do you know that the diabetics on this, no one had insulin spikes? Do you know people weighed 300 pounds were not hungry? Because there's one thing, if I can teach you anything, you're not hungry because you don't have enough calories. You're hungry because you don't have enough nutrition. It sounds so simple. This was the answer. The answer all along. All these diets never addressed it. All they did was deficit about lower calories, calories in, calories out. It doesn't work. This Harvard Medical School, New England Journal of Medicine, Medicare, now all saying we made a huge mistake. Calorie counting is over. So the researchers, there's no calorie counting on this. None, zero. But look at the results. That's not, I mean, how many of you would be excited about losing 5 pounds a week? She lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle and was not allowed to exercise. Not because the research kids exercise, but they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Otherwise, you'd think it was diet and exercise. But it gets way better than that. It's not just about the weight loss. In a month's time, people's blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down dramatically. And 2 other things you should be aware of. Number 1, there's a new medical syndrome that you and me and everybody in the world has. It's called TDOS. The T is for toxicity, the D is for nutritional deficiency, the O is for being overweight, and the S is for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, oh, I guess that's me. I did discover it, by the way. But that's not the point. The point is that we're breathing, we're drinking, we're eating chemicals. Do all of you believe we're living in a toxic world? Because we are. They had a study 2 months ago. They found microplastics in our brains and in our coronary arteries, for crying out loud, along with, well, you know what else we got in our body? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotch yarn and Teflon. And the reason you all complain to us, which is justified, about not just how much weight you have, even if it's 20 pounds, it's the amount of fat you have on your body. Here's why. I bet you always quit. Why? Why is this happening? I'm going to tell you. Because when you ingest these chemicals you can't avoid, your body, to protect us, to keep us alive, takes the chemical and stuffs it inside your fat. It's called the visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. Well, look at her stomach on day 1 and look at her stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise. Guess what she did? She detoxed. She absolutely detoxed. Now, there's more to this. Do you know in a month's time what else they found? Inflammation, which me and you, every one of us have, right? It came down 25% in a month. And diabetics, the need for insulin for the diabetics came down 41% in a month. This is not a diet. This is a new way of living. But the key to this is not just the detox. And the second thing, the most important, is maintenance. Yes, it's called R2M, race to maintenance. That's what the researchers call it. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks on this 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. She's 8 or 9 years. All the people I'm showing you were 8 or 9 years. But now you talk about medical changes. And you know, when you get older, you can't lose weight, right? Here's a 65-year-old man. Wait till you all see this. Look at this, everybody. 40.8 pounds, 52.5 inches in 30 days. 30 days. But look at his blood work. Look at that A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. What about the triglycerides? 242 to 124 in a month. This is not ever seen before in any study ever. The main reason to do this is to maximize your health potential. If you don't think your health is the most important thing to you, then you're on the wrong podcast. Because the thing I see, please put it in the chat. If anybody can tell me, hold on just a second. Let me see what they're saying here. Somebody's saying something. I missed a couple comments. Okay, so you're losing me. I dig art. You're losing me? Well, I'll repeat it again then, okay? I've got to go to work. Come on with it. Feel good system. I dig art. Eat clean and track using my Fitness Pal 55 days. It took you 55 days to lose 21 pounds. What a joke that is. Look at her. She loses 21 pounds in 30 days and gained. I tell you what you lost on that what you're doing with the tracking, the nonsense. You've lost lean muscle mass and you've done nothing to detox your body. So don't try to compare that to this. It's not even in the same category. There's not one shred of evidence on what you're talking about medically ever showing it removed any toxins from the body. It lowered inflammation. Yes, the number on the scale moved, but it took you almost 2 months to lose what you lost in a month. You're trying to compare that without any counting macros or any of that nonsense to what everybody's doing? No, it's crazy. Hippo giggles. What's he pushing to buy? You know what, Hippo giggles? You weren't on when I started. There's no products involved. This is food. So please, if you're going to make a comment, make sure you have all the information, okay? This is developed by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world after 40 years. It's been published in 10 peer-reviewed studies. There's no products, okay? Everybody, no products. So don't think I'm pushing something. I'm a research scientist for 23 years, and this is the culmination of my research. But I didn't do this research. This research is developed by the top weight loss. Now, if you want to go on a silly diet, go for it. Lose weight and gain it all back, because that's what's happening to us. We've got 80% of America overweight and 50% obese and 50% pre-diabetic. Are you kidding me? And someone's trying to tell me that losing 20 pounds in 55 days is the same. Wait, look at this. How about 35 pounds in 37 days? That's almost a pound a day. I understand you're all skeptical and you think you have these solutions, but you don't. Here's a huge study at UCLA talking about all these diets. A landmark meta-analysis by Tracy Mann and colleagues published in American Psychologist reviewed 31 long-term studies on calorie-restricted diets and expressed the harsh truth. The analysis concluded that dieting itself predicts future weight gain. Oh, so you're going on a diet, counting your macros to gain weight. We've got to do something different. I mean, this is insane what's going on. And people are so brainwashed into thinking these things work, and they don't work long term. My God, Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. Harvard Medical School, listen to what they said. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said, it's time to concentrate what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. I mean, are you trying to compare something? Look at this, everyone. How about 40.8 pounds and 52.5 inches in 30 days? And the nice person that was on before, I can't remember, I don't know who it was. Hippo. Why would you make a comment before you've heard the whole story? You have to eat. You're going to buy a month's worth of food. You buy nothing from us. You buy nothing from the researchers. 30% of what you're going to buy, you're going to get a free grocery list. You take it to your grocery store. The other 70% you're going to buy directly from the suppliers who brought foods to this that come from around the world that you can't buy in the United States. You trying to tell me that you've ever seen anything like that, Hippo? 40 pounds, 52 inches in a month on a 65-year-old man who has A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124 in 30 days. And someone was bragging before. They lost 21 pounds in like 51 or 52 days. Oh, really? How about 60 pounds? How about 60 pounds in 3 months? It's a silly argument. You can't compare any of these diets to this. And this took 40 years of research to come up with it, and I didn't come up with it, and there's nothing to sell. So don't tell me I'm selling something. We have a free medical website. If you go there, you will not find anything for sale. And we offer free coaching. Hello. Hippo will have whatever opinion you want, it's fine. They're free. But this is medical science. This is back, like I said, it's been published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. Think that's some sales gimmick? You don't get in things like Nature Communications right here. This is a study come out in the last 6 months on this. It's the #1 medical journal in the world. What, you think you get on there if it's a hoax? You can't, Hippo, point to another diet that has any peer-reviewed human trial medical study. Show me one. Macros, keto, carnivore, none, zero. They don't have any medical proof. And people are following it. And what are we following? We're following to dead end. Because all the research, here's Medicare, analyzing diets. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers viewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any diet, is an efficient treatment for obesity. The study showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. That's Medicare. That's not me saying that. So I appreciate your opinion, but it's not based on the facts. The facts are we don't have anything to sell. You have to eat. You're getting a month's worth of food, only you're getting food from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America that has nutrition 100 times more than what's available in the United States. That's what makes this work. And new ways of eating. If you don't want to learn about it, it's okay. Go with whatever diet you think works. None of them work. They're all abject failures. Every study is saying that. Another big study over here. That says why you shouldn't count calories. None of this is my opinion. These are the top weight loss researchers in the world saying things like, while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. Does that sound like something exciting for all of you on these diets where 2/3 are going to weigh more than what you did when you started? Really? Boy, that sounds like a great solution. This is real science. This took 40 years of the top. These are rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. Not me. But we're giving you access to the information for free. Stacy, I'm a nutritional researcher. Hippo. No, Hippo. Okay, Hippo, you're done. You're already done. That's enough for you. Bye. Have a wonderful day. Go do your stupid whatever the hell you're doing because none of it's going to work and you're part of the problem. So bye, Hippo. I mean, people are just so inundated in this nonsense. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't get published in 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. but we're bringing the evidence to you. Now, if you want to ignore it, that's up to you. If you want to think any diet you've ever seen, you could lose 60 pounds in 3 months, let me know. Or this one, this is for real, everybody. That's 5 pounds a week. And she only had 30 pounds to lose, and she lost 21 pounds in a month. Who would like to know how she did this? Hippo is so funny because the point is that when you have, which nobody else has, by the way, but when you have peer-reviewed human trial studies that are published in these big journals, it's irrefutable evidence. There's no arguing against it unless you're like uninformed. Because I'd love for anybody to put in the chat, do you know of any other sites online where they're showing you peer-reviewed human trial studies? I love audience participation. I mean, this is live. I'm here. A lot of you are on here. And if any of you like the content, please tap on that screen. Tap on that screen, and let's get some more likes going. So who else would like to ask me a question? Yeah, Sharella. Yeah, so Sharella, do you appreciate, and please, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I just want to know, because for everybody, you're going to help everybody understand. Do you understand the significance of a peer-reviewed human trial study compared to a clinical study or like a scientific paper? Yes or no? No. Okay, Sharella. Thanks for being honest, by the way. Okay, so let me explain to you the differences, all right? First of all, like the name implies, a peer-reviewed human trial study is done on human beings, not on mice, not on rats, not on chimpanzees, not on chickens, not on monkeys. No, it's done on human beings. They take a very, very long time. They cost a lot of money. And you have to understand, even to get considered to be published, there's a government agency that analyzes your research. That's step number one. This takes months. Step number two, then it goes through another advisory board, which one, okay. Then after you've been through all those hoops, then it gets submitted to something. One of these is published, for example, Sorella, in the Obesity Journal. Well, just by the name alone, the Obesity Journal goes to every obesity expert in the world, right? They decide if first they look at the research that's come through these the gauntlet. They've gone through these first RMAs, right? These first two qualifications. Then they decide if they're going to publish it in their journal, they don't review it. So they send it out to other world-class experts, medical doctors, and the top scientists in the world who have one job, Sorella, and that's to disprove and discredit what you're trying to claim. Thank God we have this system. That's why no drug, Sorella, ever gets approved without going through a peer-reviewed human trial study. Now, drugs are different. They take a long time. In this case, some of these studies were started 13 years ago, and they're just now coming to light 13 years later. Some were faster, some were slower. But the other thing you have to understand, it's like when it gets submitted, each one of these journals have their own criteria. So we've got we have the Obesity Journal, we have Frontiers in Physiology, we have Nutrients, we have the Nutrition Journal, we have Frontiers in Nutrition, and Nature Communications, just to name a few. So each one of those have their own review boards. So it's not like this was just, you do it. No, you've got to go through that with each one of these. That's why it takes so long. This is irrefutable medical evidence. They've cracked the code for obesity and health. Sorella, does that make sense? Does that make sense now? Do you get that, right? So why aren't these ask yourselves, everybody, why aren't these other influences that you're all following? You're doing keto or paleo or Mediterranean or whatever it is. Why don't they have peer-reviewed human trial studies? Because the claims they're telling you about, they have no basis in fact, in medical fact. So when people come on and they want to spar with me, it's like a nonsense. It has nothing to do with me. It wouldn't matter whether I was a doctor, PhD, genius, Einstein. I didn't do the research. Neither did if you're going to a doctor and they're giving you an opinion. They didn't do the research. And you hear this all the time on TV, it's doctor recommended. Really? When did doctors become nutritionists? They take about 15 and 20 hours of nutrition in medical school, with all due respect. I wrote 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest doctors in the world, so I have tremendous respect for doctors, but they even admit they don't really know anything about this as far as nutrition. If they did, how could we have 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, and 50% pre-diabetic right now in this country? Do you all think we need a solution? Or do you think your diet is sufficient? Yes, I want the info. You are speaking fact. Doctors are not taught, they're guessing. Thank you, Potato. Good, Shirella. And I'm going to read to you about the shots and their effectiveness or ineffectiveness, okay? So, I've got limited time, so I'm going to do one run through of exactly what they did. Please be patient. I'll do it as quickly as I can, but I don't want to leave out anything, because you potentially would make a decision based on what I'm going to say that could change the rest of your life. Now, if you think that's sales hype, you're on the wrong podcast. We're nutritional researchers. Our only job is to make you aware. We have provided, see above our head, everybody in blue, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. The only thing on that website is medical proof. There's nothing to buy, despite my critics that want to come on. What's he pushing? What do we buy? You know what you're going to buy? Food. And you're not buying any food from us or from the researchers, okay? So the people who invented this, Madison, I'm going to address that in just a moment. Look, Madison, it's not like I'm against the GLP-1s. They're helping diabetics and people morbidly obese. But when you see how pitiful the real results are, and I promise, but let me walk through this first, because it's important you understand that this is real, backed by real medical proof, and we'll compare this to the shots. Fair enough, Madison? Does that sound cool? All right. Lots of likes now. Come on, everybody. Let's get some likes going. We're up to 253, and I've only got about 10 or 15 minutes, and then, believe it or not, I have to go to the gym and work out. I don't have to, but I want to, okay? Oh, good, Bill Orfanoff. He said, thanks for clarifying what a peer-reviewed human trial study is. All right, so from the beginning of time, good diet and exercise have kept people in shape, but now we have GLPs. Yes, I'm supposed to. Okay, Madison, I promise. Just please, everybody, be patient. Let me explain what this is first. So, who invented it? These are rated, okay? Not doctors. These are the PhDs, whatever. These are the top rated, okay? Number 1 rated weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. How did they come to find this? They had done 100 studies, peer-reviewed human trial studies on human beings over 40 years. And you know what they came to? The sad conclusion? No diet that they ever studied in 40 years, not somebody giving me an opinion about counting their macros and eating healthy. That holds no weight in the medical world. It's like, yeah, this is a nice conversation, but it has no basis in fact, because it has never been put through a peer-reviewed human trial study. So what they said was, these researchers, because remember, they were just analyzing all these diets, but they did 100 studies, thousands of people. I mean, if anybody would know whether diets worked or not, it was them. And they said, we got to change up. Here's the first thing they did. Completely eliminated counting calories. Do any of you know the technical definition of a calorie? Put it in the chat if you do. I didn't know what it was 24 years ago. So here you all are. You're all counting calories and you don't even know what a calorie is. Maybe. Because in a year, I've had 9 people get the actual technical definition of a calorie correct. 9 out of thousands of people that have been on my podcast. So the researchers said, here's what they did different. They said, your body has no idea what a calorie is. Your body doesn't count calories. When you're hungry, you're not hungry for calories, everybody. Your body, the reason we're alive is for 3 factors: air, water, and something you need a minimum of. And it's not calories. You know what it is? Nutrition. So think about a diet. What you do, you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of food you're consuming. Did anyone ever tell you that you're reducing nutrition? And when that happens, your brain senses there's not enough fuel to run your organs. Your organs are powered by nutrition, not by calories. Guess what your body does then to counteract less nutrition? It goes in starvation mode and turns to your muscles for fuel. Oh my God, that's the worst thing that could ever happen. That slows down your metabolism. If you're wondering why you plateaued and you're wondering why you're gaining all the weight back, you've done something to yourself unknowingly that's going to cause you to gain all the weight back. And it also, by losing lean muscle, you're slowing down your own immune system. You're literally making yourself unhealthy by going on these diets. That's what the research has proved. So they said, okay, here's what we're going to do. No calorie counting. They put together a food list. 30% of what she ate and you ate, you'd buy from the grocery store. You don't buy anything from us. We don't have any products. There are no products. There's no lotion, potion, pill, magic elixir. None of that. You're going to get food. But what was different, instead of giving people how many calories they wanted to consume, they gave them serving sizes of what? Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, vegetables, and even salad dressings. You'd get the list. You go shopping. But whatever you spent last month, you're only going to spend 25 or 30% of what you spent last month at your grocery store. Well, what about the balance of what you spent? These researchers found other researchers. Listen to this, everyone. These researchers have spent 20 years, the other ones, going around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Why was that important? Why? Because some of these people are living to be over 100 years old in these blue zones, and those were some of the nutrients they brought back. But in general, they brought back huge amounts of nutrition in very small amounts of food. Wow. Because what was the theory behind all this? Can we give you less food, but increase your nutrition based on very select foods? Do you realize what these researchers did for us? They didn't give up after 40 years. And then they put this to its test. So what did she do? 5 days a week. She had 4 meals a day. She started with, these researchers call these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. Hell, that sounds pretty good to me. No supplements. No, no, no. Food you eat. Breakfast from these world's most perfect meal. Lunch from the grocery store list. Dinner from the grocery store list. And a fourth meal after dinner, the world's most perfect meals. Because your perfect meal has to be based, it can't be based on calories, because your body doesn't know what a calorie is. It can't be based on food. It has to be based on nutrition. So 5 days a week, four meals a day. 2 days a week, wait till you hear this. Now this will spin all of you out of control. I know, because I do this all the time. She did 2 days, 48 hours each week until she, well, in this case, until she lost all her weight, called intermittent nutritional, this will spin you. Listen to me though, intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these world's most perfect meals. But this time she ate 8 times a day. This sounds crazy. How can you be fasting and eating? Because she was getting tiny amounts of food, tiny, but huge amounts of nutrition. Diabetics on this, nobody had insulin spikes. This was never seen before, because a diabetic, if they eat more than 3 or 4 times a day, they suffer insulin spikes. People that weighed 300 pounds weren't hungry. If I can teach you anything, you're not hungry because of calorie deficits. No, you're hungry because of nutritional deficits. And diets by use, even if you do organic food, say, I eat it clean. Somebody's telling me that, I'm counting my macros and I'm eating clean. Really? Food in North America is almost nutritionally bankrupt. They estimated a head of a bowl of spinach from 1953, Cornell University, iron levels, the iron in spinach. Those levels have dropped by 4,300% in 70 years. So one bowl of spinach in 53, today you got to eat about 20 bowls of spinach. We're the most overfed and undernourished people in the world. We spend 4 times the rest of the world now on what I call sick care, and we have about the 100th outcome. What's going on? We're making ourselves unhealthy, and these diets are making it worse because you're losing lean muscle. And it's not like you come off the diet and gain your lean muscle back. The experts say for every pound of lean muscle you lose, it takes you about 12 months to recover. So let's say you lose 20 pounds on a diet. The averages on all diets studied, 25 to 40% of what you're losing is lean muscle mass. She gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, was not allowed to exercise, had to wear a Fitbit proving she didn't exercise. Now, why didn't they want her to exercise? Because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Otherwise, you'd say, well, it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. And she lost no water weight. Yes, they're brainwashing enough with calories. What are you talking about? Eat muscle. I'm not. Yeah, for fuel. Sorry, Shirella. Yeah, the body's using our muscle. Shirella, it's not my opinion. All the studies say that. And I'll show you, talk about the shots. Okay, let's get into the shots right now because everybody wants to know about that. So everybody, you can look this up. I'm not against the shots. They help in diabetics and morbidly obese. But let's compare the shot to this. This is a study in the New England Journal of Medicine, once weekly. You all can look it up. Once weekly semaglutide in adults, overweight and obese. After 68 weeks, that's a year and 4 months, everybody, the weight loss, and they're saying this is really good, the New England Journal of Medicine. After 68 weeks, the weight loss was 32 pounds, and of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. I know because I'm working with lots of people on the shot. Talk to anybody that's doing the shot, that's going and getting their numbers measured, especially their lean muscle mass. They're all losing lean muscle mass. It's not up for debate. What is the shot? It's a low-calorie diet, in case you didn't know. It slows down the food moving through your digestive tract. You eat less food. Code word what? You're getting less nutrition. Does that make sense to everybody? Am I just crazy? Maybe I am. And I know I make a lot of people mad because they want to hang on to, I'm going to do macro counting. Good, go for it. It's not going to work, but if that makes you feel good, it's like we're defining the definition of insanity to tell you how ludicrous this is. Johns Hopkins Medical School just put out a warning. Listen to this. Study predicts obesity apocalypse. By 2030, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. They said by 2048, they project all American adults will become overweight or obese if the current trend continues. Do you have to get to 100% to think, these diets really, they're not working? Ladies and gentlemen, today they're not working. Whatever diet you're on, you're making yourself unhealthy. I hope it makes you mad. And I will challenge you. Go to the website if you want. It's free. Listen, you see it in blue above our head, the new health conversation. If you go there, we're not going to contact you. But if you like what you see, then you can get a free coach. How much is the coaching, everybody? 0. No charge. We got coached. Because you can't do this just on your own. It's not about, oh, here's your grocery list from the food store, your grocery store, and here are the exotic foods around the world. No, that's 50% of it. How you do it, when you do it, what the space. Now let's talk about maintenance. Maintenance, you know how simple it is? You have these exotic foods around the world. That's your breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, and every couple months do another 48-hour intermittent nutrition fast. Why would you want to do that? Because you all have this syndrome, and me included, called TDOS. Don't be naive to think what the hell is going on in this world right now. We're living in an unbelievably toxic world. T is for toxins. D is for nutritional deficiency. O for being overweight. S is for stress. This is a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office of a new medical syndrome. Peter Greenlaw, who said, oh, I guess that's me. I discovered it. That's what matters. The reality is we are storing our body to protect us. You're breathing in, right now you're breathing in the fumes, me too, from the coal-fired power plants in China from 2 weeks ago. The mercury and the cadmium, whether you know it or not. Be naive if you want. Hey, stick your head in the sand, but it doesn't change the reality of what we're facing. As those chemicals come in the body to keep us alive is taking those chemicals and stuffing them inside our visceral fat. The visceral fat's around your organs. Look at her stomach and hips on day 1, everybody. Look at her stomach on day 30 with no exercise, no sit-ups at all. You think any diet's ever produced anything like that? And this research, these studies are published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. Not a scientific paper, not a clinical study. No, that has no bearing in the medical world. It's not the real thing. The real thing is you got to do it on human beings. And then you have to have it scrutinized. These are reviewed. Peer review means it's been reviewed by the top medical doctors, not by me. So that's why don't believe me. Why would you have to believe me? Somebody said, are you a doctor? Well, what would that, I'm not, but what would that matter? I'm reporting. It's like I'm the reporter reporting the news. There's a fire. The house is burning down. The camera's showing in the fire. And they're saying, well, are you a fireman? What? Yeah, I mean, people are so crazy because they want to hold on to what they believe. Yes, exactly, potato. As a matter of fact, the Japanese have a 10-year longer lifespan than we do, potato, just to let you know. You lose, I don't care if you, no. As a matter of fact, the worst thing you could ever do is be on a diet and do exercise. Sorry to tell you that. Because think about what you're trying to do, Madison. You're asking your body now to put out more, it needs more energy with less fuel. How does that make any sense? What do you think your brain's going to do? Your brain's first priority, Madison, is to run the brain, the heart, the liver, the lungs, the kidneys, and it only runs on nutrition. So if you don't have enough nutrition even to start out with, and now you start diet and exercise, and you're using more of that, the brain is going to cause you to lose lean muscle mass. That's just how it works. Now on this, you can exercise. I'll show you what happens if someone exercises. Yeah, Bill. Well, Bill, you're a ringer. You've been on my calls before, so you know. And nobody on the other side. Where do we got to go work? Okay, look, listen. Do you see right above her head the new health conversation? Shirella, do you see that? Right above her head, the new health conversation. That's where you go. You go to Google, everybody, you type in the new, look at Shirella, you can see it there, the new health conversation, and it will take you to the website. You'll see it come up in a second. Boom, there's the link, there's the website, and all the medical proof is there. And if you like what you see, scroll down and you get a free coach. Got it, Shirella? Do you understand now? Madison, if you do GOP, okay, so I answered that question for you, Madison. Japan, I was thinking I could do 5. Hold on just a second. I was thinking I could do 5 small healthy nutrition meals while on GOP. Well, the problem with that, Madison, with all due respect, is the food in North America is almost completely nutritionally bankrupt. So as a fact, if you're thinking you're going to have 5 nutritious meals, it's just not possible. You can do the research yourself. Look at every single category of vegetables, whatever. The nutritional values are crashing. So that's part of the reason why why we have people weighing 500 pounds, because the body's telling them, the brain's going, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, and we don't listen. We think it's about calories, and it's really about nutrition. But you can't get, it's like you said, you can't get blood out of a rock. No, Madison, these researchers tried all those things for 40 years. They always did organic. You have to understand, they tried this very thing with regular food. It just didn't work. So Madison, the key to it is you've got to be able to give the body the necessary nutrition. Now, if you can do it in less food, that's even better. And that's what they did. But Madison, there's no such thing as eating healthy. It's healthier. As Madison, you'd probably be shocked to know they did 200 studies comparing organic to regular food in the grocery store. It's about 10% better nutritionally. It's less polluted, meaning it has less toxins in it, but it still has toxins. So sorry to tell you that, but that's just the reality. See, that's the difference between science and hype, okay? And I'm not saying that peer-reviewed human trial studies are infallible, because obviously they make mistakes on drugs, but at least we have a safeguard. At least we're not allowing, the drug companies to produce their own studies and then bring these drugs to market. So we do have a safeguard. But to think that we now have a nutritional system that's passed the scrutiny of 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, you can rest assured there's no other program like this. I think, Madison, somebody commented. I said, Madison, do you know of anybody else on social media that you've seen on any of the platforms that is showing you one peer-reviewed human trial study in what they're claiming? They're making all these claims, but they have no proof behind it. We're the only ones. And it's not even my research. And I didn't create this. And we don't sell anything. But we're doing this. Look, Madison, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what should excite you. When I show you any of these pictures, like look at this, Madison. 60 pounds, that's my friend's daughter. 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her, where's the loose skin, Madison? She doesn't have any. And she's kept it off now for 8 or 9 years. And so but I'll show you this will warm your heart, everybody. Look at this wonderful, wonderful lady. 200 pounds in about a year. Where's the loose skin, everybody? 200 pounds. How much more evidence do you want? You think you're doing that on counting your macros? Really? Oh, it's just so silly. But people, they think they're right, but they don't, unless they have a peer-reviewed human trial study. It's just, and I know, because for 22 of my 23 years, I wrote 4 best-selling books, 20 shows on PBS, spoke in universities and hospitals, over 1,500 live lectures around the world. You know what it meant in the medical world? All my talks, 0, until these studies got published in these 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So let me ask you something, Madison. Would you have more confidence going on a protocol? You're following someone on, nice people, they're medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians, nutritionists, fitness people, weight loss coaches, with not one shred of evidence, versus being published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, proving this works and it's safe? Which would you choose, Madison, if you knew about it before this podcast today, which obviously you didn't? But look at her. Well, she was really happy before. But I think look at her belt. There's no surgery. She had no surgery. I'm laughing for joy for her. I'm so happy for her. And, I think I'll share something, a personal story with all of you, and then I really do have to go. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about trying to help everybody by doing this, all right? Because the website, you all see it there in blue, right above our head. See it? The new health. Where's the website? There it is, the new health conversation. It's a free medical website for you to go to, and we're not going to contact you, all right? Now, listen. My own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And I loved her. It didn't matter how big she was to me. But I saw how heartbroken she was. I saw what fat shaming did to her. We go to the supermarket, she'd come home and just cry, and why can't I lose weight? Why can't I lose weight? So 23, 24, almost 25 years ago, my mom called me up one day and said, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? That was before I became a researcher. She said, I would give anything if I could spend one day thin. I said, well, Mom, that's really cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom was 62 years old when she died. I believe my mom dieted herself to death. So yeah, I probably have a grudge against diets. But I can't let my personal feelings can't override the medical proof. A, that diets don't work. I read earlier, I'll read it for all of you. This was from Medicare, okay? This is kind of a summation of, I got a whole bunch more studies, but I don't have enough time to read them all to you. But let's look at what Medicare is saying about weight loss and diets, okay? This is Medicare speaking, not Peter Greenlaw. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers at Medicare reviewed many studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than lost on any diet. In summary, Medicare says there is little support or proof for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. So Medicare is telling you that 2/3 of you, on whatever diet you're on today, you're going to weigh more than when you started. That is not me giving you an opinion. That's from medical studies, many medical studies they analyzed. And we've got way more evidence to back that up. So Madison, if you're still there, oh, thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much. My research is helpful. Great, great, great. So Madison, you get nutrition into your diet. Go to the website, Madison. Do you see it there? Give me a yes, the new health conversation. And then if you like what you see, scroll down, you get a coach, and the coach will show you the grocery list you take to the grocery store. You buy from the grocery store, not from the coaches, and you don't buy anything from the coaches, but you get, they'll show you how to buy these foods that come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and then they'll show you how to do this to create this, because it's not just wow, oh, Cindy's on, she gave me a rose. Unfortunately, I got to go, Cindy, and also Linda. I know too. As a matter of fact, you know who's on here, everybody? This is crazy. I had the great privilege of coaching these two amazing women. The daughter's a nurse. She lost 50 pounds. The mom is 80. She lost 90 pounds. Together, they lost 140 pounds. I think the daughter lost it in like 3 months and the mom in about a year, but they've kept it off for 3 years. They're both on here today. They're on this podcast. I'm so honored they came on. This is celebrities I have on my podcast, and yet I got to go. So great shout out to Cindy and to her mom Linda. And you all, this was June 9th of this year. You all can get the magazine online. Look what the magazine called it. Over 50 protein. The two of them, they lost 140 pounds together. The mom's 80. Hello. You think this works, Madison? Oh my gosh, it's so much fun some days. Some days aren't so much fun, but today I'm just having a really wonderful time. And oh, look, Cindy's saying we're so grateful for that. Not for me so much, Peter, but certainly I didn't do the research. Yeah, Peachy. Is that unbelievable or what? Yeah, right. The proof is in the pudding. Exactly, Peachy. All right, everybody. Well, listen, I do have to go. So let's see. I'm going to come back on about 12:30 Eastern time today. So again, Linda or Cindy or anybody, if you're available, you can tell your friends about it. I'll come back on at that time. In the meantime, I would encourage any of you to go to that website. You can see it in blue above your head, the New Health Conversation, the New Health Conversation, and see what you think, because we won't contact you if you go there. Everybody understand, we will not contact you if you go to that. And then if you do like what you see, scroll down and you get a free coach, okay? And believe it or not, two of the coaches that have volunteered or Cindy and her mom, and you might be lucky enough to get one of them. They're celebrities, but they got coached. Well, yeah, I did coach them, so I'm going to take some credit for that. But they're so passionate and dedicated. They want to help other people. I mean, I know Linda, she's 80 years old. She's like playing pickleball 2 or 3 times. She's swimming. She couldn't climb a flight of stairs like a year and a half ago or whatever when she started. It's so cool. It's just, oh my gosh, I have the greatest job in the world. So thank you all for being here today. Peachy's saying this is the best health plan for you. That's the mom. That's Linda. That's Peachy on here, everybody. So I do have to go, everybody. And like I said, I'll come back on again at 12. If you're coming on late, if you want to hear me again, a new podcast at 12:30 today, Eastern Standard Time. All right? Thank you all for listening. I appreciate all the like. I appreciate all the love. And I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And you have the opportunity to go and see the medical proof at the new health conversation, all of you. Thanks, everybody. Bye.